tell people I'm a Chinese major, one of the first things they ask me is, "Isn't that the language with all the pictures?" Now, there may be some of you who consider taking Chinese for your foreign language requirement, but were scared away by the writing. Chinese characters, however, aren't as mysterious or difficult as you may think. According to Associate Professor of Chinese and Linguistics, Zhiqun Xing, in her book Teaching and Learning Chinese as a Foreign Language, Chinese characters have been categorized into 6 types, but only 4 of them compose around 90% of the Chinese language. Those are the 4 I'll be discussing today: pictographs, indicatives, semantic compounds, and semantic phonetic compounds. Now, the first character type to develop were pictographic characters. Pictographs are symbols that are direct picture representations of the thing they represent. Wendan, a Chinese and linguistics professor at the University of North Carolina, said that while pictographic characters were historically direct sketches of objects, they have been simplified and standardized over thousands of years into the characters we know today. For example, this character, 日, means sun. While today we think 日 is very boxy and maybe doesn't look like the sun, if we look at the historical versions of 日, we can see how it developed over time from a direct picture representation into the character we know today. Indicatives were the next character type to develop. While pictographs are direct representation of physical objects, indicatives are simple ideographic characters that people can understand the meaning of without much outside knowledge. Now, an ideograph is a symbol that conveys an idea rather than an object. The characters for the numbers 1, 2, and 3 consist of the number of lines that the characters represent. For instance, the character for the number 3 has 1, 2, 3 lines, so the meaning is not difficult to understand. After indicatives, the next type of character to form were semantic compounds. Semantic compounds are characters that are more complex ideographs than indicatives. They combine 2 or more characters using both meanings to create a new word. To create the verb to see, Chinese places the character for hand over the character for eye, to emulate someone putting their hand over their eye to see. The final character type to form in the abstraction of Chinese characters, according to Shouhui Zhao, the professor of Chinese language and culture, were semantic phonetic compounds. Semantic phonetic compounds are composed of 2 parts, one side that relates to the meaning and another that relates to the dictation. The verb to live, 住, is a semantic phonetic character. On the left side, it has a radical or part, which means person, while on the right side, it has a character read as 主, which means main. So while the left side hints the word relating to people, the right side has no connection with the meaning, instead only hinting on the pronunciation. In this speech, I talked about the 4 main types of Chinese characters: pictographs, indicatives, semantic compounds, and phonetic semantic compounds, which again make up around 90% of the Chinese written language. With this, I hope that when you hear someone say that Chinese is just a bunch of pictures, you'll know it's more sophisticated and much simpler than that.